Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and beautiful people across the whole world. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's Thursday, it's Thursday, it's Thursday, it's Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday, it's Thursday. It is Thursday. And it's a good day to try hard. What we're going to be doing today is, last time we played, we went from Platinum to Diamond. And then once we hit Diamond, we started to do bad decks. And as you can see, we have no pips. Fuck. And we've decided to return back to our goal of trying to play some of the decks that have been emerging since the World Championship. If you'll recall, at the World Championship, there were decks like, this I would consider still kind of some staple concepts, the aggro to mid-range, red deck that really rips and it slaps. We saw Paulo Vitor Dama de Rosa's Azorius control style. There were a number of different Azorius controls, some that ran more or fewer Dream Trawlers. Arcana Sun's Grace also showing up in those. And of course, Carvalho's Jeskai Fires list that even included a pair of Dream Trawlers. These were sort of the big bad boys, and often when there is a sort of marquee event, that kinds of players have done the output of research and figured out the good shit, and that kind of winds up being the basis for all the decks since then. But man, there's been some really interesting evolutions since then. In particular, Aaron Gertler's Teamer Adventures deck that has been growing in popularity and completely upending the standard Azorius control and the standard aggro red stuff. And because it's completely upended those, we're now kind of in a phase 2 of the meta, which is super exciting. And so one of the decks that I want to showcase today is one that's been growing, which is this fascinating mid-range Bant deck. It's maybe mid-range is wrong, but like I heard this called Midramp. Kind of plays like a mid-range, kind of has some weirdness to it, but also has a lot of straightforward components. First of all, why Bant? Why green-blue? Well, because we can ramp with the green-blue. And a lot of the big payoffs are white. Sweep the board, exile, and then resummon. Dream Trawlers in white. Also, with white, we have access to Teferi Time Raveler, which eliminates all sorts of counter issues. We have Nissa, who's busto as always. Tamiyo is a very interesting recursion tool. Tamiyo is a really, really dangerous card to include in decks. I cannot stress this enough. Tamiyo, like, the biggest stability that Tamiyo will provide is that she has 6 loyalty the turn she's played. She comes out with 5, you +1 her, she's at 6. But she's also often very inconsistent at drawing the cards you want, and if you get one out of the graveyard, you are essentially turning your Tamiyo into that card because it's so vulnerable it can die now. So there's a lot of riskiness to including this in the deck. It's an extreme value card, very obviously. You can just continue to recur your incredibly large threats, such as like a Dream Trawler or some such thing. The other cards that sort of round out the deck, 3 Hydroid Krasis. We don't really need 4 Hydroid Krasis when we have some draw, some draw, some draw, some draw, some recursion in the graveyard. Some draw. We have a lot of other draw tools, so don't necessarily need this. There's also some cute other tech choices. A single Mystical Dispute, a single Narset Parter of Veils, a pair of Night of Autumns. Really, really interesting little list. And the sideboard, I would honestly call it the obvious ones. Devout Decree, Glass Casket, Aether Gust, some tools against aggro in red. Dovin's Veto, Mystic Dispute against counter, against control magic. And then we have some other interesting ones against enchantments, another Knight of the Autumn, another Heliod's. Kenrith the Return King is also a very nice one to have against aggro. Jeez, get me away from that deck. Ugh. Guys, here's Might and Magic 3 tomorrow. Why do we even play Magic the Gathering anymore? We should just become a full-time 20-year-old game player. 7-year-old. Is it? How old is that? When did Heroes of Might and Magic 3 come out? Is that 95? Heroes of Might and Magic 3. What was the year? Maybe it was 97. 99. Wow, that was much later than I thought. Yeah, so it is 20 years old. Fuck yeah. I'm never wrong. Arboreal Grazer is a fascinating card. Crazy Caleb says, running Rakdos Kroxa tonight on tabletop. Thoughts on what to replace Embercleave with? I actually like cutting the E2 Extinction and the Embercleave and replacing them with Angrath's Rampage and Rankle Master of Cankles, respectively. This is a fascinating card because it's a very, very good blocker against aggro, but it needs a land from the hand, so when you're running 4 Arboreal Grazers, it can really suck. It can really, really suck. I'll probably want the white here. We have green, blue, white, so... Scourgelance, can I ask something Twitch related to my Scourgeland? You're always welcome to ask me anything you want. AMA for just Scourgeland, you know what I mean? One of the problems with some Bant Ramp openings, and also part of the reason why we have so many big high-value cards, is you dump the land from your hand so fast sometimes that you can't do much. Is that bad? I don't see any blue. I don't know if we're up against a Gruul aggro deck or like a... I would assume Gruul aggro and not Teamer, given the fact that we see a Fabled Passage. Fabled Passage is not run in the Teamer Adventures deck because it's trying to run so many basic lands. Damn, I'm good. It's important to reduce the incoming damage right now. We're gonna exile this, no big deal. I'm gonna leave this back because I think individual points of damage preserving those is good. Well, this sucks. Now I can't play my Uro. Oh, Neuro can't play the Uro. I have to wait until I have a shitload in the bin. So that's 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. I just don't want to get this fucker exiled. I think I'm willing to take like the 8 damage. And let me see if my response got followed up upon. I got distracted because I'm playing the video game. Crazy Caleb, what do you think about those? Thoughts on Flame Sweep? Ask Crazy Caleb. I think Flame Sweep is horrific in the discard deck. Like absolute 0 out of 10 Mondo mega garbage. Yeah, and then I'll just decline this. Post decline, we do this. Kaboom. This guy's gonna get exiled, which sucks. Yeah, Flame Sweep is absolutely emergency bad because you have almost all of your creatures have 2 power. Or excuse me, 2 toughness. Or, oh my god, I mean, excuse me. So, I mean, it just blows up your board. And that's also why I like the Angrath's Rampage. Timoret Calls the Dead, Mire Triton are incredible blockers in that Rakdos deck. you got incredible blockers in that Rakdos deck. Incredibly efficient to the point where you don't even really need Flame Sweep. Alright. How do you feel about the Bant list? We have played one game of one best of 3, so I'm not willing to really make any statements. But let's get rid of some of the obvious ones. Mystic Dispute, Narset, Knight, Tamiyo, Dream Trawler. So then we want the Sweepers, the Caskets, the Devout Decrees, Aether Gust. Did that just sideboard itself nicely? Look at that. Whole lot of one-ofs in the sideboard. Yeah, typically you'll see lots of one-ofs when a very sophisticated deck builder is trying to figure out overlapping answers. Ugh. Very obvious what your Balshans do. No big deal. And by that, I mean something like... let's imagine your... God, what were some good examples? I'll speak about it abstractly because I'm struggling to come up with a concrete example, but when you see a lot of one-ofs, you might think of it this way. I am saying something like, against aggro, I need 3 cards that can kill creatures, and against control, I need 3 cards that can kill planeswalkers. And I don't quite have 6 slots in my sideboard, but I know I need 3 and 3. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do 2 hard removals for aggro, 2 hard planeswalker killers for control, and then 1 that both kills creatures and planeswalkers, but is a little more expensive.
Got it.
So that's why you see a lot of one-ofs. So it might be something like, I need... this is a made-up example. I don't know for a fact if this is at all the right way to describe this particular deck. But, boy, that actually really sucks ass.
We will not fail. Be wary of the ground.
But with this deck, we might say something like, I need 3 cards to kill enchantments and 3 defensive cards against aggro. Okay, well, I'll put in 2 Knights of Autumn that... that's also not a good example. I'm really struggling to come up with examples on the spot. If I had a sideboard list, I'd be able to, like, look at it a little bit more cleanly. What on earth is this? What is this? Is this a piece of lettuce? Oh, okay. Gross. I was like, what's in there? Ah! Wait, what happened? Oh, they probably both attacked in, huh? Bedevil's good creature planeswalker example. Yeah, you might have something like 2 2-mana cards that kill creatures, 2 2-mana cards that kill. This is the best play, even if there's an Embercleave on that. You might have 2 2-mana creature removals and 2 2-mana planeswalker removals, and a Bedevil, which is a 3-mana creature and planeswalker removal. Embercleave on this boy, almost certainly. But if it goes on this, that's even better. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at Danon keeping the health alive. I should have swung with this first, but shit. Unchained Berserker. Unchained Berserker. Well, let's play this one first.
Let's slow this.
Can't target these because they have protection from white. And that's a death. My name is Sean, and I have died. We can't lose stars with this rank, so there's no big deal. There tisn't a big deal. Before I forget, I want to briefly make the changes to this deck. I think this is a really nice, slick little change to this deck. I think it's very, very good. But if I come and look at the sideboard, doink. Here's actually a really good example of how one-ofs show up in decks and this overlap example existing. If I am against a lot of aggro decks, I want anti-aggro cards like Devout Decree and Glass Casket. I want some of these. But I want to have just a little bit of extra power against green. A little bit of extra power against, like, Wilderness Reclamation, Sultai Ramp style things. And that's what this 1/8 Gust is this could maybe have been 3 Devout Decree, 3 Glass Casket. Like, when I'm developing a sideboard, I'll be like, wow, 3 Devout Decree, 3 Glass Casket feels really good. And then I start to struggle against green, and I go, how could I transform one of these Glass Caskets into something that's still pretty good against the aggro things, but maybe also helps in the other one? So that's sort of how you wind up with one-ofs. Like, this was, I think, a really big breakthrough for at least me personally when I was trying to learn about sideboarding. I just didn't understand, actually, just with main deck, sideboard, all this, I would see a lot of 3 of this and 2 of this, and I'm like, where does 3 and 2 come from? Where does 1 come from? Where on earth? And people would be like, you just get a feel for it. No, fuck that. I'm a formalist, man. Give me the actual structural systems that you're using to think about this. Or you're not a formalist, a structuralist. Give me like the actual approach. Give me the objective measure that you're using. And that's how it was explained to me, that 4 is a lot. And you might feel like 4 is not enough. So you go up to 6. You might want 6 of the exact same effect. Like 6 kill a creature cards. But because you can only have 4, you kind of mix and match those 6. Sometimes you end up with like 3 and 3. Things like this. Scrooge says, where might I share a funky deck idea with you? Well, tell me about it. Does Scrooge just talk to me about it? I am a human being! Alright, so we see the Jeskai colors. We're going to go ahead and play Teferi, and we're going to plus Teferi here. We're plussing because there's very often Bone Crusher Giants that can just shoot to kill. Par exemple, let's go Bing Bong. Plus it again.
I'll protect you.
Trunks says, how do you feel about the new Historic Anthology 2 cards? My understanding is that the world has had enough Thalia, or whatever her name is. Thalia Gaben of Thraben, or whatever her name be. Let's bink a land one time. Fucking ass. What is going on with this deck? This deck blows,
Don't
man.
worry. I got this.
I'm a hater on this deck. I mean, my first game felt pretty bad, but we were up against Gruul Aggro, and Gruul Aggro is just one of those decks that will always have the capability of blowing stuff up. How many lands does this deck have? We have 20 count. 28. Yeah, 28 lands. Just a casual 28 fucking lands in this fucking deck. Block! I'm dead. I'm, like, actually dead. I can't fight against this. Alright, Scourger land. Posted a question. Actual question. How does it work on your end? Do you have an option to turn this on or off? What are your thoughts if you have... that's part 2. Oh, okay. So as intro to the question, sometimes, or most of the time, there is an ad that plays when I click on streamers recommend to me, or in general, before I even get a chance to see the streamer. I'm so irritated by the abruptness and insistency of it that I sometimes find myself just closing the tab when I'd rather otherwise have given a shot to said streamer. How does it work on your end? Do you have an option to turn this on or off? What are your thoughts on it if you have any, especially on the deterrent factor? I'm asking because it's the first time it happened on your stream today. I will come back to that after sideboarding, but I have answers. Okay, what sucks here? Arboreal Grazer, we have nothing to defend. Nothing at all. How the hell do I actually do this? I don't know if I 100% need a Shatter the Sky, but I'm going to revisit that. Mystic Disputes and Knights of Autumn are very good here. Kinda want to do something like this. Now, why am I cutting the Shatter the Skies? I might even cut this Narset. Narset's pretty good in this matchup anyways. Okay, what's my game plan? My game plan is the following. Kill Fires of Invention. Kill Fires of Invention. Actually, I probably want this too, maybe. Yeah, the goal is kill Fires of Invention. Here's a kill. Here's a kill. Here's a kill. Here's a delay. We have many ways. Oh, here's a bounce. We have a lot of ways to shut down Fires of Invention. And therefore, at that point, the large threats that our opponent will be playing will be happening one turn at a time. And I believe that I have enough answers to deal with a large threat one turn at a time. Jesus. Okay. So, keep 6. So for the question of how it works on my end, I'm actually not 100% right now because we are not an ad-focused channel. I can tell you that the way that having ads get run midway through is my control. I hit a button that says run ads and I can specify the time duration of that. Something like that. But when it comes to the advertisements... Ow. Oh, I have crampies in my tummy. When it comes to like running those ads, yeah, it's run like that. In terms of the ads that are run when someone first tunes in, I'm actually, oops, not 100%. It's fine, I was going to do this anyways.
I'm known for my excellent timing. Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% on exactly how it works, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure. My assumption would be that it's probably default on, and maybe if you're a subscriber it doesn't run, or maybe it does. We have a lot of potential decisions coming up. What to bounce? I think I always have to bounce this. I'm actually not the goals for this don't seem super clear to me with this deck. And I'm not saying it's not there. I'm feeling as though it's not as obvious. Like with the Sultai ramp deck, it's really clear what your goals are. Welcome back, Kenrith. Well, all right. Go ahead and send that fucker back.
Might be a bad idea.
Really? Speed seemed bad against the Fires deck. Technically, yes, but I need to try to fill up the bin as fast as I can, and this is a mostly guaranteed way to get something into the bin. I think I can do neither of those, because I'm on the verge of death. I'm really not sure what the game plan is. It could have been that I need to keep in the Shatter the Sky. There's also an inconsistency in my game plan where I bounce this once and bounce the creature the other time. Yeah, I think I needed to cut the Tamiyos in this matchup because Tamiyos seem pretty fucking useless. And honestly, whenever I'm playing a deck that I don't understand super well by looking at it initially, I just grind through losses and it doesn't matter. Like, if I really know what the deck's supposed to be doing and I understand my goals and I feel like I can wrap my head around it, if I'm feeling that and I'm losing, then I'm like, yeah, no, cool, like, we need to change the deck. But often, I'm still feeling a little confused and I don't make changes. You might recall, like, maybe 8-9 months ago, there was a time when I was playing a deck where I was just getting my ass kicked with Bant Flash. And then I just kept playing it, reflected on it overnight, came back, and then won, like, every single game in a row. And it was tight! The dude who always says dude says, hey, I had a question. I feel like you're one. Oh, fuck yeah. We growth spiral. Oh. The dude who always says, dude, I had a question. I feel like you're one of the streamers that could answer this truthfully. When you're on stream, is it more of an act or are you mostly yourself? Do you think other streamers mostly act? First of all, let me kill the shit out of this bastard on this turn real fast here. And then I will answer your question in the fakest of ways that I know how. Excuse me. The way that... So, I mean, the short answer to both of these questions is, 1, yeah, I'm myself. 2, no, I don't think pretty much anyone has an act. Oh, thank the booty. Alright, I believe I Dream Trawler first. No, maybe I Dream Trawler second. Yeah, let's Dream Trawler second. Let's just get this asshole out of the way. Yeah, like, so the way I'll describe it is for any person, there are many yourselves. You know, think of how you behave when you're just fucking around, hanging out with your friends, playing a game, and laughing your asses off. Think about how you might behave if you were giving a presentation for a project. for work. Neither one is an act or fake. They're both you. They're just different contexts. So here is, for instance, a side of me that you just really will not see if I'm on air. I get really tired sometimes, and I just chill. I'll just be real quiet. I'll be very unfocused. I will let my brain drool. I'm real scared about an Agent of Treachery, man, let me tell you. I just want to fucking chill, man. There are times when I'm just feeling really mournful and just kind of want to be sad. Trunks says we all have different facets, different masks that we wear depending on the circumstances. I don't like the term mask there, because the mask implies that this is a fake thing out here and there's something real behind it. When really, it's just that people are not one-dimensional, is really what I'm saying. Whoo! Yeah, let's give this loyalty. People have different aspects of themselves. People are not one-dimensional. People have different interests, different moods, different wishes, different wants, all sorts of different things. I think I'm going to just conquer some death right now. Yeah, so, I mean, in that regard, I tend to be very... There's a lot of different aspects of myself that I share on stream. Like, there's the goofy, degenerate, make a stupid deck, like, laugh and mess around mode. You'll see me doing this in Slay the Spire. There's also the attempt to try to think about, to rationalize about what's a good strategy, how am I thinking about this, you know, to try to, like, I'm trying to improve at a thing. Like, I'll do that. Also, there's the competitive Sean, it's like being sweet Sean. A lot of these sorts of things show up on air. No, probably not this. Probably these and... Oop, these. Probably got both of these too, huh? I don't see a better thing than a Grazer, man. And so so that's my answer for me. Yeah, I'm myself, but like for instance, if something's really bothering me in my personal life, I don't really talk about it on air. In the same way, if you're having something really hard going on and you go to work, sometimes you just like don't want to talk about it, man. So I mean, I'm pretty deliberate about what I'm comfortable sharing and not comfortable sharing. Regarding other streamers, my longer answer there is like, dude, playing a character, a persona, seems way fucking hard to do for like 30 or 40 hours a week. Look, I don't even know how you can do that. That's why Dr. Disrespect is so impressive. I actually think Dr. Respect is extremely similar to that persona in real life. I think that you're actually just looking at a funny person. You know what I mean? Like, if I mean, I know Dr. Disrespect's name is Dr. Disrespect. Andron says, I'm sure he's similar, but he's definitely putting on a show more than an average streamer. I mean, yeah, but I mean, how often do you see me win a game and go, oh, we're the best player here, fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sean Plott's doing that. I'm doing that. And in the same way that I bet, you know, the... okay, so I do this. This comes down. Crack it for blue. What's going wrong here? Ah, because it's a creature until it hits the battlefield. Fuck, man. I don't know why it seems so hard to hit land with this fucking deck. God. Yeah, I mean, like, I think that when Dr. Disrespect does that, he's being extremely entertaining. And I think a lot of us also understand that if you are at home talking shit and the other person can't hear it, you're just being goofy. Like, if I'm like, oh, Demian, I'm gonna snap you like a twig, you know? If I'm saying shit like that, it's considered goofy and silly and entertaining. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm dead. I'm increasingly really not understanding this deck, but... And I mean, friends do this to each other. Why can I never get to 5 lands? Why? Auto-tap solution has changed. I'm digging that.
You show remorse. No, I am not making this up as I go.
28 lands in this fucking deck. Fuck! Arrgh! Did you dig for land with Tamiyo? Yeah, fuck yeah, I might, man. Jesus. What's the reason for putting stop at your draw step? Why not? Is my entire reasoning. There it is. Oh! Don't you dare use my why not command against me, Ghost Stalker. You are mod grounded right now, young man. Speaking of grounded, where the fuck is the land in this deck? It's half the... Yeah! That's what I'm talking about, baby! Get enlightened, me! Are there literally 28 lands in this deck? Yeah, half the deck's a land. Fuck. Well, here's what sucks. I'm about to get Agent of Treachery. We have seen consistent, like, non-plays for a number of turns. Alright, you're ungrounded, Ghost Stalker. Yeah, but I would be remiss to say that any of these streamers that have some sort of stylized entertainment branding to them, I'd be remiss to say that any of these people are actors. Because when I think actor, I think, like, you know, the guy that played Joffrey Baratheon is probably not a bad person in real life. Probably not. Probably not a bad dude. I don't understand how this fucking deck works, man. The interviews I've seen of the dude, he's very much so not like Joffrey Baratheon. He's just a very regular human being. I mean, if I can't get the land in a deck that's 28 lands, I don't know what to tell me. I don't know what to tell me. Wait, I won the first game? Oh, fuck yeah, I'm the best. I thought we just 0-2'd it. So Albatross at times is a different kind of performance piece, but I think there's an argument to be made that they could be considered actors. I mean, if you are changing the definition to be that, then I would be like, well, yeah, I mean, if you are considering playing up an aspect of what your current experience is, if you consider that putting on an act, then yeah, sure. In that case, Day 9 is an absolute act. You know, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable leaving things as not sharply defined. I'm not a big believer in having many circumstances in which sharp delineations are listed out. But I do remember in 2013, 2012, no, it was 2012. There was some Hollywood agency type who was talking with us and asked who the scriptwriter was. And I said, there's no script. And he says, stop bullshitting me. Who's your fucking scriptwriter? And I was like, no, see, I've just played this game for a long time, so I have a lot to say. There's a lot to talk about in the game. And he hit me with the, kid, I've been in this business a long time. You're not going to get anywhere in Hollywood if you keep bullshitting like that. And I was just like, all right, man. Well, I think I'm not interested in working with you. Is it safe? Kind of want to get some of these counters out of the way. Nice. Albatross says, this could be a semantics conversation eventually. What is our baseline definition of actor so we're on the same page? Here's my answer to that. First of all, there's nothing wrong with asking that question like that because, dude, I fucking studied math. I love defining terms. Fucking love it. Oh, shit, yeah, let's define some motherfucking terms, right? I'm all about that shit. The land shall be blue. However, here is how I'm going to approach this. Sometimes I do think starting a conversation with a definition can be very, very helpful, and we're happy about that. However, imagine if I said to you, dude, don't build your house in the middle of the ocean because it will sink. Build your house on the land so there's no risk of it sinking. If someone came to me and said, okay, Sean, where do you draw the line between where the house ends, or excuse me, where the ocean ends and the land begins? Because if I look at the beach, you know, the tide's moving forward and back, and there's waves coming and crashing forward and down. Like, where do you exactly draw the line on this ever-changing thing? To which I would say, I am not here to perfectly define this edge, and it still means it is no less true, the statement, don't build your house in the middle of the fucking ocean or it'll sink. Alright? My statement is no less true, even though we don't have a super sharp delineation. This is roughly how I think of this problem. Oh wait, I actually can do this. I can, like...
Rise, my elemental friend.
Let's get a blue land one time. Yeah, shock it in. Oh my god, our deck is doing a non-zero amount of stuff. That's so good. So that, I mean, this is kind of how I answer this sort of thing. Like, Sean, where does an aspect of your personality end and you being an actor begin? And I'd be like, look, man, you are allowed to think. You are allowed to just reflect upon this. I fucking know. I know. I have the contingency.
I have a plan.
Yeah. You know, Sean, where does an aspect of your personality end and the person being an actor or having a persona begin? Like, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to make the point that it's really, really hard to be anyone but yourself for huge amounts of time, just by nature of what it means to be a streamer. You are live like 40 hours a week. And that's real hard to keep up an act that long. So that's... Ben Rainer says, per the difficulty of putting on a persona for 40 hours a week, I think like with most things, it gets easier with practice. Like as someone who has been a GM for years, it is super easy for me to put on multiple personas for hours on end, especially if they are characters that I've already put a lot of thought into. I've never had to do it for more than 10 hours at one time, but I think it would be possible for someone like Dr. Disrespect. I will first note, there is an absolute league of difference between preparing for, thinking about, getting ready to, and then performing for a day, and then stepping away, reflecting, doing more work, doing more preparations, etc., etc., etc. I mean, you're live 40 hours a week. 40 fucking hours a week. Like, if I told you DM different characters for 40 hours, like, just do it for 1 week by yourself. You get no input from players. You get nothing to bounce off. You are by yourself. Okay, 28 lands, and none of them can be found. I'm going to do this very greedy play. We are in Problem Town right now. I mean, I know we literally just won a game, but I am, like, not feeling this. I mean, we're going to play it for a little while. And the statement, it gets easier with practice, I can completely perceive someone being able to do a bit for a really long period of time, like, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't doubt that that could be true. I don't doubt that. But I think that it is important to just stress how unimaginably crazy difficult that is to do, period. It's just so fucking hard. Stephen Colbert had a fleet of writers for the persona of the Colbert Report and did it for 30 minutes at a time, a few days a week. And then stepped out of character after that. Shit, look at this Grazer value, man. Yep. Yes, on a mold of 5. Shit. Oh. C. Travis says, why do something you aren't enjoying? Sorry for the why not style question. Are you referencing something? Because I'd be like, yeah, don't do stuff you aren't enjoying. But I don't really know what the... Oh, this deck. Oh. It is false to say I am not enjoying the deck. I'm saying that I don't understand the deck. I do not have a good feel for this deck. Give me 1 sec. And I'm back. I think this is a fine mulligan, or not a mulligan plan, fine sideboarding plan. Maybe you need more lands. No, 28 is an absolute metric fuckload of lands. Not drawing them over the course of 2 best-of-3s is just statistically unlikely. What Amahunic was asking about earlier, you know, like, don't most streamers? I think this is actually okay to do. I mean, normally you want to save the Glass Casket for Anax, but I'm going to be going Teferi and then Teferi plus Shatter the Sky. Alright, well that is actually helpful. Pay the life and we plus the guy.
I am not. Don't worry, I got this.
I forgot I refilled it. Fuck. Oh, come on, Chandra. Fuck me. This deck feels much, much, much flimsier. And some of the other ones we've been playing with. I do not find it very strong.
Say hi to my fiery friends.
That's an Embercleave. It's not an Embercleave? Whoa. Fucking yuck. Jesus Christ, this is fucking terrible. Get 'em, boys! Alright, play this, hit this, activate this. Get an island. So that way we can Castle Vantress the following turn. Play this, we get to draw a card. And now we hope and pray.
Don't worry, I brought company.
That was a very slick play from our little buddy yesterday. Or last turn. Had the 2 mana available to play the Embercleave, and we made the correct read to not block, but then our opponent didn't just play an Embercleave, which is very easy to just smash out. Why does protection from white not work against Shatter? Because protection prevents damage. It doesn't prevent destroy effects. Is that lethal? Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Okay, so that's pretty good. Alright, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad.
I protect that which cannot protect itself. Behold, nature's true power. What the heck?
Is there any way to do this? I don't think so. Fuck. No way to live. No way to live. Because my opponent will summon 2 1/1s, equip an Ember Cleave. I have to have a block and a block, because if I don't block one of them, it kills me. But whatever way in which I block, I can protect 3 damage to my face, because both my blockers will have 3 toughness, but the Ember Cleave will allow 4. Alright, so we've lost 2 and 1/1. Do I take deck lists? Nah. Just conversations, Crazy Caleb. Conversations here, and then occasionally, through conversation, we'll get to a deck list. But I don't take, like, open submissions to investigate and examine lists, because it just creates the floodgates, where it just suddenly becomes this fire hose, where all I'm doing is disappointing everyone except for 5 people. Jeff Hoagland has a very clever structure in place, where Jeff Hoagland has like a deck submission voting system. So if you want the deck, it has to get voted in. And therefore it creates the expectation like, well, yeah, dude, if you don't do it, or if you don't want to do it, then get it voted in.
I've got time.
Plus this, my opponent is at 3 mana. There's no ability to play a Nissa next turn.
Let's try this.
So unless a dude gets played right now, oh my god, the deck is actually doing things. Can you believe it? So now, because we have a blue land untapped, we can Mystic Dispute most of the blue places. Ow, man, I am having stomach ache. Like, at the bottom of my tum-tum. Get the fuck out of here. Time to take some Tums. On a scale of 1 to 10, the pain is like a 2 or a 1. It's like so not painful. But it's enough to be annoying.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
I'd rather have the damage. Peeling away, feels good. Other actors, let's grab my attention. I saw it on Jeff Hoagland's stream. Really tickled me. I saw it and I was just like, perhaps there's a bit of gas stuck in there. Yeah, that could be. Ow. Pseudo Panda, you don't need a question mark at the end of that.
elements.
Goodbye, my friend. Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm starting to see the power of the list. I'm starting to get where the power comes from. I do not get Tamiyo. Period. I do not get that card. Not even a little bit. Like, why? What is it even doing here, you know? I think Tamiyo mostly fills the graveyard to fuel Uro Escape. Yeah, I think I'm not picking up on that power. See if we can utilize it a little bit better. I think maybe just like single Dovin's Veto is good for comfort. The fill graveyard to activate the Uro Escape had actually not dawned on me. That actually makes a ton of sense. And it's important to have cards that are actively helping your plan, less so cards that are actively stopping another plan. So for instance, yeah, this card would be amazing against... I'm keeping this because I have a huge pair of plans right now. Never mind, I just drew what I needed to. I'm the best player. I would like blue. Yeah, Tamiyo obviously stops me from discarding with Doom Foretold or like the Rakdos discard deck that I was running. It would absolutely poo upon it. But that would be a reason for it to be in the sideboard a little bit less to be in the main board. Uro, A. What are we playing today? Dude, the Great Googly Moogly. We're doing some Bant Midramp. So yeah, so the sort of responsive reasonings for Uro, or excuse me, for Tamiyo are all true. But it just makes supreme sense, the original comment of Tamiyo putting things in the bin for Uro, which is pretty slick, sick, and dope.
In this land, we are all connected. Rise, my elemental friend.
I think I fucked up. I think I needed to not Uro on turn 3. Crazy Caleb, the Sultai ramp list from Andre Mengucci that we played yesterday and last week is excellent. And we're also playing another Sultai Super Friends list. This is a Hydroid Krasis. I will be the king of concessions and just move on with my life. Can I just once again say, But this coronavirus stuff is so insane to me. So absolutely insane to me. Like, my brother was telling me that he has to get... Because my brother lives in South Korea. He has to get his temperature checked before he's allowed it in the building. I mean, it's just remarkable.
This isn't a fight you can win. Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Okay, so if we do like this, this, and this, and then we do this. Like, the overall response in South Korea is pretty powerful. Maybe I should have waited one more turn to shatter. I don't know. Forsaken Feasts worldwide panic over something less deadly than the flu. I would be remiss to evaluate it like that. The flu does kill a huge amount of people every year, and it is important to get your flu shot and stuff like this, but the emergence of, like, a new virus
Harness the elements.
that could potentially be way more contagious and long-lasting and scary, you know, that's the sort of thing that's, you know, because, I mean, even if it's, like, a death rate of, like, 1%, if there's enough people who get infected, that winds up being very... very scary. So, how the hell do I win the video game? I guess we do it like this. I mean, that said, I do really respect the underlying notion, which is like, dude, regular old flu is still something to be very alert and concerned about. Ooh, we get our own Nissa! Oh! I know. How's family doing? Yeah. Dad lives in Hong Kong, brother lives in Seoul. And it's just incredible, the amount of just stuff that's happening. Nuclear Nibbles says, before I left China, we had our temperature check each time we left or entered our apartment complex. Legally had to wear masks outside our apartment at all times. We're not allowed any visitors. Jeezy Louise, man.
Seek shelter in my stewardship.
Ugh. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. But this is a 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. X equals 6. These things are indestructible, which is a big pain in my brain. Yeah, I know. I totally know about the LCK hiatus, and I also saw this morning that the RLCS, the Rocket League World Championship, that got canceled. I saw that this morning. I mean, I actually sent the following email where someone was asking for my availability, and I said, well, for the next 2 months, I have an extremely busy schedule. But at the rate that live events are getting canceled, things might really be super free for me in May and June.
Underestimate my fortitude.
mean, I don't say that with any sort of humor, like ha 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 ha. I might not have any work because the global economy is reacting to a pandemic. Like, it's just like so. It's just so weird that this sort of thing can happen. You know, I even think. Well, those indestructible lands are a pretty big pain in the ass, huh? Okay, let's do one of these. I'm not going to try to compute stuff. I'm just going to rock this out. Okay. I think this one is maybe a dead game. Because Nissa's about to come back. Ooh, no, I should have shattered and then eliminated Nissa. Fuck! Alright. Never give up hope, Day 9. Never! Ah!
Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, the first instance of being like, whoa, this is actually really super duper affecting people I know was Sean Bloom, whom I do the mostly Walking Show on Mondays with. Sean canceled his honeymoon because, and I shit you not, they were booked on the Diamond Princess cruise. Like, what? I mean, I was just sort of like, oh my god.
Witness the ties that bind us all.
Oh, the Tamiyo came back? No, really?
Behold, nature's true power.
Nuclear Nibble says, oh yeah, Nuclear Nibbles was saying that you were required, when you were in China, you were required by law to wear a mask when you're outside of your apartment. We're so dead. I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly, if by law is too strong of a statement. But then you were saying, to give an overview of the financial strain, employees legally had to be paid for an entire month of work while the company was not bringing in any revenue. I'm still being paid by my company despite only working online for like 5 hours a week, full salary. Yeah, God. Dream Trawler sucks here, right? Maybe it's really good. It's either amazing or it sucks. Nuclear Nibbles, no, by law is correct. They could put you in jail for not wearing a mask. I mean, that's just incredible. Nadora says, canceled my honeymoon to Tokyo as well, but hey, 90 months. Hey, if you ever need a weekend getaway with the new wife or husband, Nadoru, you're always welcome to tune into my regular broadcasts. I mean, I'm not going to change anything for your sake, but dude, let me tell you, we can make it a good experience. I'm sorry, I had to say, it was funny. It was funny to say. Maybe I'll sing Happy Marriage to You. Happy marriage to you. Happy marriage, Nadoru. Happy marriage through you. Sounded like a very sad song. Well, I didn't mean for it to sound so devastating, but the truth is, I don't know how to sing. I can keep a beat. Go Super Day 9. And many more on Channel 4. And Scooby-Doo on Channel Ooh-Woo. Mumbling Dutch, happy 2 to the 6 months, 64 months. Said, if I had a bit for each month, I'd be a pointer. Whoa! Whoa! Yeah. Any rhythm games catch your interest lately? No, just beat Mania 2DX. That's the only one true rhythm game that there will ever be for me. Enter step. My turn, my turn, my turn. I'm talking about my turn. I'm actually going to minus here. There's relatively little threat of this Teferi dying and crying, due to the fact that the only burst damage that this deck can have is a Nissa who shakes the booty, which can't come out this turn. Nope. So I think this is the move. I think that the way that I describe my analysis of this matchup is I must always stop a Nissa. That's my goal. My goal is just stopping the Nissa. Hey, Saino! With the 10 gifties! Thanks, Saino. Thanks for helping support this here community. So I think I do like this. And then my opponent will use one of their counters. Or tap out. I always forget about the tap out effect. That was extremely newbie of me, but that's fine, because I absolutely always bank.
Together, we will prevail.
Sweet Princess Nissa.
Let's try this.
Be wary of the ground you walk on.
Thank you for pronouncing my name correctly on the first try. Damn right. It is a superpower of mine. I have never mispronounced anything, except for sometimes, but I try really hard. Yeah, I also completely forgot that my own Teferi can't do Jack Dilly.
Trust me, I have a plan.
It's hard when I have played Magic, you know, with some frequency for like more than a decade.
If you wish to surrender,
It is just ingrained in my body that I need to be looking for and playing around counter spiels. All right, so what do we want to look for? Do I want to look for an Uro? Is that what I want to be doing? I mean, I think this should cause some murdering to happen. We get this one out, resolve it. We do this.
Ruling you will be excellent research.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Seek and
Hydroid Krasis. I feel like maybe I should be going for an Uro, but if it goes to the bin, 'tis already a win.
the land fights for us.
I think I'm starting to get this shit now. Warth. Jack Riatz, is there a trick to choosing which lands to animate with Nissa? Well, yeah. So forests, anything that says forest on it gets double the value. So typically I want to, if I am going to be casting a Hydroid Krasis, I want as many forests not animated as possible, because then I can go tap it, animate it, tap it again. So I want to have the forests reserved back here until I'm ready to burn a shitload of mana. On the flip side, if I don't have mana to burn, I want to animate something that will not be a forest, again, to reserve it for that. And kind of building on this, it's therefore important to try to, like, consider what land I want to be careful not to run out of. So now we're going to do Nissa.
I know I noted this.
And we're going to luck out and get it. Yeah, I know. So, like, in this case, I might say to myself, okay, Sean, you're getting a little close to hitting, to getting all your blue lands killed through one sweeper, so I want to be a little bit aware of that. But, I mean, other than that, it's not particularly sophisticated, any heuristic I might be using. Maybe I should have bounced the Elspeth Conquers Death. Yeah. +1/+1. Look at how powerful and strong this guy is. Doesn't it feel great? Oh, he's going to the bin. Oh, ooh. You love to see it. This is essentially impossible to lose.
I'll protect you.
The past is never forgotten.
Yeah. Shadowcast says, I have a question about a promotion I'm getting, which maybe shed some light on. I'm currently a lab technician, but accepting a job position as a software developer at the same company. I've done extensive work for them already in this field. Although the promotion is a large wage increase, it is still maybe 10K a year below the low end for my experience of work. I have a lot of flexibility, but I'm not sure it's worth the salary hit. So, to use some basic numbers, and I mean real basic, like non-realistic, they're offering you something like $90 a year, and if you accepted a regular software engineering job at a regular company, they'd be offering you $100 a year, at a minimum. So you're basically saying, yeah, $90 a year is more than I'm currently getting paid, but if you want to hire me for that, should be at least $100 a year. Is that, am I getting it? Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I mean, there's a number of ways to go about it. $100 a year? No one makes that kind of money, says Surprise. I know. Maybe it's a shoddy example. Here is what I would do about this. First of all, I want to share a bit of perspective that could... I want to share a perspective. So, a lot of the work in entertainment is gig-based work. Magic the Gathering Worlds. I was hired to work at Worlds, my contract's done, boom, it's over. Day 9, no, it's over. So it's done. It has concluded. Now, there is a rate that I should be paid based upon my experience realistically. And again, to use a simple number, let's say it's $100 per event. And let's say I can say definitively, damn it, I really do deserve $100 an event. Damn it. Ugh. Let's say something happens, such as, Jesus, I don't even need to be abstract about this. Like, coronavirus might really affect the economy, particularly in live gig economy situations. What if all the events that want to hire me are only offering $90?
Behold, nature's true power.
I mean, the answer for some people in my position would be, you know what, 90 is less than 100, but the fuck am I going to do about it? If I say no, I earn $0. But if I say yes to 3 of these, I get 90 times $3. I do feel like I deserve, and based upon my skill set and based upon the market, 100 times $3 is correct. But, you know, no one's hiring. What are you going to do? So I do recognize that in situations, there is often this feeling of like, I must accept this as a realistic truth. That sometimes the choice really is between nothing and something. We might as well go with something. Now, and I'm ignoring the fact that I have a stream that makes money. So, like, if someone was like, Sean, we're going to offer you $50 instead of $100, I'd be like, oh, no thanks, because I have a stream that I can just go back and do. So in your situation, I'm just going to bluntly say, I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong with you just saying, you know what, I'm not looking anywhere else. I'm getting a pay bump. It's less than I should make, but that's okay. Like, that's one perspective that I just want to share. That's something that I think about a lot, because I personally know of actually many people who have done hosting work, who have done a variety of... I know a lot of hosty folky who have just kind of shot themselves in the foot sometimes. They just like, I deserve this much, and then they literally don't get any work for a year. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I think it's important to stand by your principles, but, you know, there's an issue here. What do I do in this situation, by the way? I mean, I'm obviously going to hit with this. I think I'm just going to go with the intuitive, reasonable play here.
I'm known for my excellent timing.
Oh shit, this is going to increase the price of that, isn't it? Fuck. Oh, whatever.
I've got it.
Doesn't really matter, does it? I think your friend Sean has made you a mistakey. Alright, whatever. Now, that said, so that's on the low end. I say this because I think that there is often a lot of shame that people have about, sometimes I really feel like I need to do this thing, even though it's not technically worth it. It's okay to consider that. Now,
Make another move.
on the flip side, what would I do in your situation? I think a very neutral way to negotiate when it comes to salary is to talk about salary ranges. If you say, hey, the type of position that you're hiring me for, the typical range of this sort of salary is $100 to $150. 100 for a more junior level, 150 for a more senior level. And given my experience, I would put myself kind of middle of the pack. I don't think I'm, a senior developer. I'm kind of middle of the pack, so I feel like I should be getting offered at least $125. So, it's a great way for them to say, well, we're going to offer you $90. And you go, well, I mean, I hear you, but really the range is appropriate. And I like that comment about focusing on this range thing. How much is in the bin, Blue one time. And what they might do is if someone... This kind of allows you to comfortably say things like, you know, if they go, well, you know, we want to offer you this much, it's more than your current salary. And it's easy for you to go, well, yeah, I mean, I recognize that it's more than my current salary. What I'm referring to, however, is the fact that you're hiring me for a different job, and this is the range for this kind of job. And it allows you to avoid the comparisons to your existing salary. Because it is a bit of a false logic to say, that thing you're doing gives you $10 a month. Do this thing that I'm offering, it'll give you $20 a month. And you're looking at that thing and you're going, oh, I wouldn't do that unless you paid me a shitload of money. And I mean, like, I have literally encountered this exact conversation in negotiations I've been part of for, like, the last 10 years. Where someone says, hey, you know, like, but my understanding is you charged that much for that event. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Happy to be totally open about that. And they go, well, then we want to pay the same amount. And I'm like, well, you're literally asking me to do a different kind of work. So you acknowledge that that work that I did there is clearly very different than this work you're asking me to do, yes? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, yeah, so that's how it works. And I mean, you know, and again, I come from a position where I have a stream and I am totally financially comfortable if nobody fucking hires me. And I don't know what sort of position you're in, Shadowcast. That's part of the reason why I said, if you're really in a financial bind, and this could be a temporary thing where you're getting underpaid, but damn it, it's temporary, and you should go get something that is worth your value. I'm a big believer in people getting paid. Like a huge believer in people getting paid. And you're going to constantly get haggled down and stuff. And sometimes you are in a situation where you are a little fucked. Like, I knew someone who had just moved to Los Angeles. The rent was a little bit tight. Actually, what the fuck am I doing in this sideboarding plan? I don't think... This goes... Is Nissa actually not that value in this matchup? Is Nissa actually not that value? I think I want to keep this. I think Nissa might actually be the weak one. Feels very weird to say, but by God, I think I'm correct. I think this is the build order. This is what I was doing wrong. Yeah, Nissa, I think Nissa does suck. Doing a near for the Krasis? Nah. Krasis is just a fine card redraw thing. Yeah, I knew someone who moved to Los Angeles, and he was in a... He had a gig that, like... The company just, like, went busto shortly after my friend got there. Like, a month after my buddy got there. And he was like, fuck, what do I do? And he took a job that just did not pay very well, and it was a lot of work, and it was low pay, even if it wasn't a lot of work. And he spent his free time looking for a job, and then got a job that was worth his time after that. So that is a story whose entire purpose is to note that sometimes if you're in a tough bind, you will get no judgment from your pal Sean about it just being a tough bind. Yeah, dude, Shadowcast, just do the range thing, and then if they push back, are you really going to be super comfortable if they're like, actually, no, we are not going to hire you? I actually want to save this Fabled Passage for a green land. Because you can see I'm a little bit stilted on the greenies, but I want to make sure that I have blue open, so that's why I'm playing the Vantress. Shadowcast TV says, I already tried to do the range thing, it did not work out. Oh, then just say no. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying no. nothing wrong with just saying no. Green. Now, again, if you are in a position where you have no other opportunities, you are interested in taking this. Shadowcast says, I think it's also highly possible that they can't afford to value me in the higher position the company is in right now. You can just say, well, hey, look, I'll unfortunately have to decline the offer if there's no way for it to budge. Are you guys in a budgetary situation? Is that what's actually going on? You know, if so, maybe you could discuss a long-term plan where maybe the problem is not starting you at $125 a year. It's getting you to the point where you're at $125,000 or $125 a year. Sorry, I use the round number of 100 because it's just like super clean and easy and straightforward. And I'm dream trawling, and I'm dream trawling. But again, if there is one word of advice, I will overarch all of this. It's fine to say no, man. It's fine to say no. Oh yeah, and in case this was not already obvious, like, very obviously get all of this stuff in writing. Send the email in writing, get them to confirm in writing, you know. Dude, I actually think that it took me a few games of playing, but I think that that's actually really super duper correct to cut the Nissa in this. And Siege Rabbit also says the other one. It's also fine to say yes if it's the only way you can keep good living indoors and eating good food. Yeah, yeah. Okie fucking dokie, man. If that's what you gotta do, then that's what you gotta do. We're in pretty good shape. Pretty good. I'm gonna do this main phase because it gives us the opportunity to draw. Yep. Go ahead and put that one down. Boom, boom. Can we get another Lando? Yes, we can do. Bong. Absolutely, I want to shock that in. And I think I can afford to play this and get the boy out. Yeah. All right, I'm increasingly getting the deck working. So hopefully that discussion was helpful, Shadowcast. Hopefully that discussion was helpful for you. Very difficult for Shnan to zoop us. Alright, well, I mean, this guy's getting gone. Bum 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 ba-na-na-na dum 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 bum 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 bum. Gotcha. Yeah, feel free to stew.
No tail should be discarded.
Got him. Starting to get this deck a little more to the bottom with you. Yeah, I mean, like, I also want to know, part of the reason why I think I wanted to start with the, hey, there's nothing to be ashamed about or wrong with taking something below what you're worth temporarily. Long term, real bad. Don't want to commit yourself to that long term, obviously. Everyone should obviously get paid their worth, but with you know, the inequalities being so significant, especially in America right now, I'm really happy to see that there is a push towards more equal wages, a push towards not trying to pull a fast one on your employees, a push towards like trying to, you know, just even things out. I'm glad that there's that push there, but I equally know that there are people that are sometimes in a position where they feel like they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they want to have like a principle of like, I'm not going to accept less than what I'm worth. And I do think that's good. I do think that's good. Make no mistake. I do think that's good. Uh-oh. I mean, no mistake. I think that's really good. I think it's really good to be paid your worth. It's awesome. A+, 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 A+. But I personally know of people who have, again, felt like they are stuck between the rock and the hard place, and they have a lot of shame, and they have a lot of, like, embarrassment that they are doing something like, you know, they're part of the problem. And I'm going to say, I think what will be the solution is if everyone is pushing in this direction and planning for and selectively saying no. Shadowcast says, I don't know if I'm being unreasonable either. It's just so tough. You know, here's a way to put it. Think in terms of just what you are comfortable with and what your needs are. And I'm going to use myself as an example. I work pretty hard during the week, and I like having weekends off. I like having weekends off. I don't get weekends off all the time, but I like getting weekends off. I think weekends off are great. And if someone comes to me and says, Sean, I want you to fly out on a Wednesday, work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and come home on a Monday. I look at what I'm giving up. My weekend, which I like, I'm also giving up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and generally Monday of streaming. I'm giving up that. How much money would I lose from streaming? And then I actually have an exact monetary figure of what I am giving up. I think we are just the deadest boy. The deadest boy that ever lived, probably, plausibly. I mean, we really need to shatter the sky is basically it. I have a set of money that I'm giving up by going to the event. I have a set of... I have my weekend that I would do, and that's the only metric of evaluation that matters to me. I don't think... Here is what I think is a reasonable amount. It's reasonable because of this concrete thing I'm weighing against. So, for instance, in your position, Shadowcast TV, you don't have to think... excuse me. You don't have to think on behalf of the company. That's their job. Your job is to ask things like, okay, what would I be gaining? What would I be giving up? Shatter the Sky or bust. If you would, for instance... this? this first.
Trust me. You'll thank me. Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Well, we knew our outs and we're playing for them. If you would have to work 10 more hours a week and you'd be giving up thing X, or you know, or like if you suddenly, upon getting this offer, realized that there were 10 other jobs that would really interest you that you want to try to go for. And upon, oh, by the way, it's totally Kenrith and then Blessed. Alright, same thingo dingo. Damn. Much closer game. Really happy with our sideboarding lessons that we learned there. Yeah, if you're suddenly realizing to yourself, oh my god, there's all these jobs around here that I'm really interested in applying for, and if I took this one, I'd be giving up on those. If you have absolutely nothing going on and you're enjoying yourself at your current salary, you have nothing going on, and then you get a job offer for something different that you think you'd also really enjoy, that you also would be willing to work for, it's totally fine. That's great. If you are saying no just to purely stick it to them, I might reconsider your position. If you're saying no because you can get paid better somewhere else, that makes a lot more sense. I'm keeping this because I have a turn 3 stabilizer. A Temple of Mystery, and I also don't know how this deck really works. Holy crap-a-moly. We are in Danger Town, USA, let me tell you that much. Woo, we are. We are scared. So, you know, for instance, Super Walk is saying, okay, so can they bring in someone cheaper to replace? If you ask for a raise, can they bring in someone to replace what you do for less than what you're asking, etc., etc.? Again, I think that these sorts of analysis bits are not incorrect. It's totally fine to consider these kinds of things. But you might also consider the fact that you don't need to do any of that analysis if you just know what you want and you speak to what you want. Shadowcast says, the thing is, I don't think that they can replace me very easily. But I'm not sure if I should think that way either. Listen, there's nothing wrong with just saying, look, I'm not going to accept it unless you are actually paying me enough money. I totally understand if things are difficult right now. Cheers. I do that all the time. My name is Day9, and I am a dead boy. Unless I bink Shatter the Sky right off the top, we are effed. Hiring people is an absolute pain in the ass, man. That cannot be stressed enough. Alright, I'm going to concede. Okay, so this was probably a bad keep then. I thought that maybe if I played this on turn 3 and one of these big things on turn 4, I'd feel okay. Shadowcast TV says, that is essentially telling that I'm staying at 50k a year, though, no? I mean, that would be what you were doing, is you're saying, yeah, and then you could just not do the other work that they're asking you to do. This is another thing I think a lot of people misunderstand when they get hired for something. Like, maybe you get hired as a, yeah, if you're getting hired to do thing A, and then they're asking you to do thing B as well, you should be like, well, hey, that's not my job description. Like, obviously, if you do have the... Okay, let's do the sideboarding. Too expensive, too expensive. This is good, this is good, this is good. This is good, Tamiyo's bad. Mystic Dispute and Narset are bad, and there's another really good one. This is really good. Got one of these. I'm actually going to put in Heliod's Intervention because that card is tight. We were talking about something, but I had to sideboard. Yeah, I mean, the short statement I'm trying to make is one, it's okay to say no at your workplace. Sean, I need you to do this. Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's right, and then I can get the white mana. Why not? It's not my job description. It's also true that if you want to get more credibility and visibility in a company, it can be very beneficial to do work beyond what your initial set is, and people go, holy shit, this guy's like actually really good, I'm gonna promote this dude. Perfect. Oh my god. Oh, the luckiest boy in the world. So far, that's what I've been doing. Man, that's great. That's great. Actually, Shadowcast TV, let me ask this. Do you have any interest in looking for a job somewhere else? Do you have interest in that sort of thing? Shadowcast says, I'm scared of looking for a job somewhere else due to my past experiences with that. Ah, I feel like we just got some juicy intel, man. By the way, I am super duper gonna wait a turn on the Shatter the Sky. Yeah, what was it that went down? What is it that went down? Because, I mean, now this actually feels like the key dimension. Like, screw all the analysis of this workplace. Because, again, all of my comments are rooted in the fact that, like, I have, like, a lot of stable stuff going on. Maybe I should have swept last turn. I thought my opponent was going to be playing this for sure, but looks like I'm mistaken. That is such a good draw. Jesus, that is a great draw. Shadowcast says, my past experience is interviewing at large tech companies and freezing up during interviews. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude, I am so sorry that experience happened. Man, as someone who does stage work, I sure know how horrible it feels to freeze up when all you want to do is talk. And it also really sucks, too, because if you're freezing up, like, there are countless people I know that might struggle to get a thought out the first time they're talking. They might really struggle to get that out. But once they get past that hump, which takes like 10 minutes, they're amazing. Shadowcast says, a lot of times I knew the answers to interviews and I just couldn't think of it during the interview for some reason. Dude, I literally know that exact feeling. I know that exact feeling.
My friend
There.
is here to help you.
Oh, this fuck face.
I know my responsibility. Trust me, I have a plan.
Someone can't get the thought out. Oh yeah, dude, literally. Remember when I couldn't remember who the player was when I was doing player interviews at the Mythic Championship 5, I think it was? And I just literally looked in the camera and said, I can't remember who the name of our second player is. I just fucking said it right to the camera. Oh, it was fucking horrible. Ah!
Hi, I'm a pretty great pyromancer.
Fucking sucked. Hey, Jay Schillen, if you can just back off, like, 10%. It's coming across as a little aggressive, Jay Schillen. Coming across as a little Jay Schillen. I have the clip. Well, that's okay. We don't need to take a look at that, do we? Shadowcast says, yeah, that looks awful if it's someone's first experience with you. Luckily, you have past history to back yourself up, though. I mean this with all the tenderness, which is you have everything you need to be able to totally fucking crush it and succeed, and it feels terrible. I know it feels terrible, and I have been there. And what it feels like when I'm up there choking is it feels like it doesn't matter how good of a CV I have. I am bombing, everyone sees it, everyone knows it, and I am a fraud. I appreciate it, Jay Schillen. Thanks so much. You know, I don't know. Boy, this is really all quite painful. Bam, boom, bam, bam, boom. I don't know what all of you think about this, but, like, I have found situations where I have to present. I actually just say, like, I am more than comfortable saying, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I get a little stressed sometimes and lock up. And I wanted you to be aware of that going into this interview.
We can do this together.
I mean, like, I used to think that I couldn't say that. I was not allowed to say that. But I mean, literally, before the World Championship, I think I was talking to you guys about this as well. Get the fuck out of here. I just... Oh, yeah, you love to see it.
Strange and magnificent world. Rise, my elemental friend.
I straight up said to the stage manager, hey, I get a lot of energy and like a lot of adrenaline right before I go out on stage, so stage manager Sean, you are going to talk to me up until the last second I go out there. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. This sideboarding plan is perfect, and so is the entire chat. I would consider two things, Shadowcast. I would consider two things. My sort of opinion as a non-medical professional, non-therapist, non-counselor, anything. So, of course, take this with a substantial amount of salt. Like thick, grainy sea salt. I think a big thing that might be messing with your evaluation of this job thing, you know, this like, should I take this pay raise to do this thing? One thing that might be messing with it is this incredible discomfort that's happened at some other job interviews. Those sorts of like sneaking, painful, sure, I'll keep it. I don't give a fuck. Those sorts of experiences can make it feel like your choice is between doing this thing think I've got to go for it. Between doing this thing that doesn't feel like it's fair to you, or this thing that... Ooh, you'd love to see it. Or this other thing that feels like really agonizingly scary. Like, take an unfair pay or go suffer and fail at interviews. That sort of thing can, like, sneak in there. Well... Well... Wow, this was fucking lucky. So I might consider the following order. I would consider the following. Holy shit, is that just death? 8, 9, 10, 11? Down to 2. Feeling blue. Ooh. Found the play. Now, if there's no creatures with haste, we're gonna be fine. If there's a creature with haste, we are fucked. Oh! I might consider the following. 1. Again, there's the Sean plot. Take some salt with this. 1. I might consider one last offer to the other workplace. Hey. Understand if now it's difficult to give me a wage that corresponds to the appropriate range. I've really enjoyed working with you guys, and I'm really excited about this opportunity. Could we have a plan for how to get me to what is reasonable for this range? I would send that and probably accept it because it's a pay bump and think of it as a right now thing. Number 2. And again, worst case scenarios, they say, go fuck yourself, here's the offer. And then you take it. Second thing, I would consider trying to get into that I am stressed out and shutting down in an interview zone. And then I would try to figure out some techniques that work for you. This felt horrible. I would try to figure out some techniques that work for you. For instance, I have a lot of techniques about figuring out how much air is in my lungs before I start going on stage and talking and hosting. I have ways that I relax very specific muscles in my body. If I relax my shoulders, it doesn't help with my stress. If I relax my stomach, it helps with my stress. These are techniques that I have found that work for me. I think you should find some of those techniques that work for you. And then I would just start looking for interview jobs. Start looking for tech interviews and tell yourself it's totally okay to bomb this shit. It's totally fine. Look at how absolutely fine you are, no matter how those other interviews have gone. Alright, perfect. We're going to get some revenge. You might even consider practicing with a friend, doing some public speaking, maybe an open mic night, which is agonizing. Let's get one thing right, man. Open mic nights fucking suck. And I'm dream trawling, and I'm dream trawling. I already have my blue land out. No! Fine, I'll get this forest. Shadowcast TV says, I really do appreciate the advice, but I think a lot of people misunderstand my freezing up. I do not get nervous during interviews, but I still freeze up. No, I'm with you. I hear you. I totally know what you're talking about. There's a big difference between feeling a little anxious and then all of a sudden your brain is blank. So I want to keep this one untapped. I want to untap this one. And again, I would try to set up just and be totally comfortable signing up for lots of... Ooh. I think no blocks is going to be the play here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. X equals 4. Alright. And, you know, I think that it's very easy to go into the feeling of avoidance. Whether literally or... whether you're literally going, I'm not going to go anywhere near that stuff because it stresses me. Or you just kind of... it comes into your brain and you push it out of your brain. It comes into your brain, you push it out of your brain. I might consider, like, just yeeting your body at interviews. Seeing how it feels. Giving it other shots. And all the while, you got a pay bump at your existing company and you're just looking for stuff that will pay you better. Let me tell you, I am super empathetic with the, I want to fucking avoid this. I do not want to think about it. And I recommend doing it in bursts. What on earth is the purpose of this? So I just do a single block like this. I'm an absolute god tier compartmentalizer. Where I'm just like, nope, not gonna think about that. Alright, keep on going. I mean, it's like the muscle that I have built up as by being a public speaker for a living. Goodbye, my friend. And we have the lethals. Alright, cool. Coolly droolia. Ooh, now we have the double lethals.
I am not going to sit there. Let's try this.
Be wary of the ground.
Let's see here. I'm going to try to keep the Dream Trawler on this second go-around. Okay. Yes. Devout Decrees, Glass Caskets, Shatter the Skies, Aether Gusts. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. I didn't really like this Heliod's intervention. What do I think about a Night of Autumn? Shadowcast, I think I'm having a hard time digesting all this because I'm not an emotional person, but I'm getting emotional responses to this sort of thing. Oh, and it's horrible because it feels like your own body is betraying you. You're like, all right, body. Good news. I have a plan for us today. We are going to attempt to conquer this particular thing using our rational mind. And it's like, guess what? It's going to shut down. And it's horrible. I was dealing with like a lot of that last year. Where I was experiencing that grief. Yeah, you love to see it. I was experiencing good old-fashioned grief. And it was just fucking with me. I'd be like live, and I'd be like, oh, funny story, and then I'd start to tell the funny story. And then I would feel like I was going to fucking pass out. I was so stressed. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. No, that's not supposed to happen. That part's broken, man.
Witness the ties that bind us all. The land shall conquer you.
It was horrible. Or like when I was at the Mythic 5 and all of a sudden I just blanked out and I was just like, It was very bad, sad bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jules says you figure out the cause. The cause was just good old-fashioned grief, man. Good old-fashioned grief. Yeah. And the issue... Oh, this is so terrible for us. That is such a good card. The issue was not having good outlets for dealing with that stuff. I'm just going to concede. We're so fucked. I am a dead bear. Good old-fashioned grief. You might consider speaking to a therapist counselor about it, man. I think therapists are great. This is not a good hand. I'm keeping it, man. Watch this. Watch my superpowers. Dude. Gatroni says every single person should get some sort of therapy. Dude, yes. Oh my god, yes. Everyone should go to a therapist. I have been to a therapist. It is amazing. And I sort of like had a almost like a false stereotype, sort of like drilled in to, I don't know where it came from, but I mean, I suppose it's just like the way that therapy and counseling is portrayed as you're growing up. Because I sort of thought it was like, if there's something messed up with me, or I'm sad and I don't know how to fix it, I go to them. When really it's like, at least a good therapist is someone who helps you learn techniques and emotional intelligence in the same way that a fitness trainer who has studied exercises would teach you about proper form and proper bits of information you might not have known. No! No, my devout decrees. That's right, Yoel Larson. We are absolutely doing some motherfucking Here's Might Magic 3 tomorrow because that game is fucking sick. Never mind, I am the best player here. Let me cook this guy. Twist him in half. Crunch. Don't need more of those bad boys. Feeling lean, drawing green. You know what I mean, Jellybean. Got all that game to bits. I've never played 3, but I've played the absolute fuck out of 2. Holy shit, I've played a lot of Hom 2. 2. Can't wait to have a big Krasis. Some of that big Krasis. Healing. Healing. Shadowcast says, I sometimes have problems talking to others as therapists. I tend to self-analyze myself way too deeply. Yeah, yeah. And, like, I actually asked said therapist about that. And she said that this is, like, really, really common with, like, particularly people that, ooh, you love to see it. Particularly people who work in, like, engineering fields. Necessary, but, you know. X equals 3. Where it's like trying to apply this sort of rational thinker thought process to themselves when really it's not about using this sort of rational analysis process. It's about using a different set of emotional tools. Because, I mean, like, truly, when I was way younger, I had no idea what to do with any of these feelings. Alright, so this guy's gonna bounce through, bonk us for a bit. Okay. Show me what I got. Like, this would be a really good guy to get, this one right here. I need some more stuff to die. Yeah, if you talked to Sean 10 years ago, man, I mean, I was good at StarCraft. I was really good at doing cool, interesting, objective, structural analysis of StarCraft. Figure out how to win at that shit. But boy, let me tell you, man. Get some sort of rejection, and I, like, would not know what to do. I would, like, internalize that and be like, but wait. Shadow Cassis. I know it also sounds stupid, but I feel like it would be extremely hard for me to listen to someone that I didn't consider to be extremely smart and understand the type of problems that I'm talking about. Dude, yeah, of course. By the way, I block like this. The double block here would encourage any kind of Embercleave to go on Torbrand to keep it alive, which helps guarantee that the Phoenix dies, which is actually a huge problem. Yeah, I mean, I think it's extremely, extremely common. To have that experience. Like, super, super extremely. I am looking and feeling like a dead dude. Alright, now what are the odds that Day 9 is capable of getting a Shatter the Sky? Think it's 100%? It's feeling awfully 100%y to me. You know what I mean? Here it is, Shatter the Sky, right off the top. Shock all of it in. I just want our opponent to pay this and then just kill us. No. No. Oh. Yeah, I don't like this deck very much.